there have just kind of disappeared. Hopefully people find this. I can't actually get back to the original at all. Um, Not sure if anybody's there yet. There's nobody there yet, but I'm sure people will pop up. Apologies for that. There was a bit of a technical difficulty. Don't know what happened. I lost the signal even though I have a full signal, which is odd. I suppose I'm next to the seaside in Scotland. These things will happen. Is anyone there? Let me know if you're there. Sorry, I lost the last one. Let me just turn this around so you can kind of get a view of where I actually am. So we're kind of losing the light a little bit. Hi Barb, how are you? Sorry about that. So this is the old course at St Andrews, the home of golf. Or is it? That's why I'm here. I'm basically making a video about the history of golf and who invented golf, where did it come from, why, and why did it develop the way it did. So I thought I would just kind of jump on, have a bit of a chat, see what everybody's up to, answer any questions anybody wants to fire at me, apologise for any muck-ups I've made recently, and tell you about a competition that we'll be doing shortly. Actually, before I say anything else, did everybody see the Hoof GP's live stream from Friday night? If you haven't, I highly recommend you do. It's a live stream, but it's quite a feel-good one. I'm not going to give anything away about what he gave away, but it's well worth a watch. Quite a heartwarming thing, and a cameo from Craigie Boy himself. So yeah, definitely worth watching. Who's all there? Busy. Barb Ridings, hello. Eric Magazoo. Great, I'm back. Yeah. Don't know what happened there. Linda Wall, thanks for not giving up. Never give up. Alex Wardaw, you've got me. Good stuff. Laura and Sarah, hi. Vicky Favita, am I pronouncing that right, hopefully? Pennsylvania, USA. Awesome. How can you lose a signal in St Andrews? I don't know. Don't know what happened there. I think there's even TV equipment and aerials and stuff over there. I thought I wasn't actually going to get onto the golf course because it's a weird one, St Andrews. The old course it's obviously possibly probably the most famous golf course in the world. In fact, that is probably the most famous view behind me there in all of golfdom. Yeah, rubbish signal at one point. Don Johnson, hello. Sharon M, hello. Lisa Stikes, almost missed you. Sorry about that. Hag Lady, hello. Hannah, hello. Lisa, PJ, hello. Barb Ridings, you cried too. Yes, you did see it. Yeah. I didn't cry because I refused to let Graham make me cry. But yeah, it was pretty cool. But I think, the guy that you spoke to maybe did cry actually. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, yeah, give it a look. Mickey H53, hope you're doing well. Good day. Freezing here in Australia. Of course, it's winter there, isn't it? Although you'd be coming into I suppose you'd be coming into the spring. I went to Australia when I was 21 and I flew in from Kuala Lumpur and it really was freezing flying into Sydney then. Wendy White, hello. Monica Bastian, hello. Jason Shepherd. What was Braveheart's handicap? Do you know what's really weird? I was just researching the history of golf. There's a record of a set of golf clubs and balls and things that were... one of the first records of golf clubs and golf balls being delivered to the States was delivered to a Mr. William Wallace, which is quite a weird one. Ginger Hammond, hello. Amanda Wisniewski, sorry, that's terrible pronunciation. Hopefully I pronounced that properly. Yeah, hope everybody's doing well. It seems busy on here tonight, which is always great to see. So yeah, what am I doing here? I am making a video about the history of golf. I'll take you over the bridge in a second. What basically happens is people kind of turn up here on a Sunday. It's obviously a famous golf club, but the thing about it is it's actually a public golf course. So you can't play here during the week without booking or without taking part in a lottery. And I think it's £270 a round, which is obviously a little bit pricey. But on a Sunday. It's basically a free-for-all. This place turns into a dog park, unless there are competitions and things going on, in which case it's a little bit different. I arrived here and saw tents and kind of stuff that looked like it was broadcasting equipment and thought, oh no, what have I done? But turns out we're okay. Let's see. Anybody's got any questions, obviously fire them over. Apology at the top to say I haven't been quite as good at keeping up with the comments. Obviously, things have been a bit busy recently, and I'm trying to do kind of a bit more content. And as the videos get bigger, obviously there's more comments out there. But I always try and get through and read all the comments, so don't think I ever don't read them. And it does mean a lot, obviously, the comments I get, and it's great reading through them. So I will always try and reply to them as quickly as I can. Don Johnson, has Top Golf the light-up gasified driving range brand? I don't know. I actually don't know. You'd be better off asking my brother that one. If you, James Parker, who is, you'll find him at James Parker Sculpture on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram and all the other socials, I'm sure, as well. He is an absolute golfing fanatic. He's probably kind of annoyed with me for being here. I should have brought him along, really, and just kind of got him involved. But yeah, he's absolutely obsessed. Was it true that William Wallace had a bad slice? Probably. Well, he's maybe shanked it, I don't know. Probably couldn't be as bad a slice as I've got, to be honest, although it is years since I've played golf. But my brother is really, really into it. What was I going to say? Yeah, so we always do this, where I tell you the stuff that I got wrong and fess up. What am I up to this week? So I'm doing a video about golf. I'm also doing a video about the 7 hills of Edinburgh. So if you don't know, Edinburgh's supposedly built on 7 hills. And I'm going to kind of go and climb them all and have a look at them and the history on some of them. One of them is especially important to me, which is all to do with kind of a little bit more in history in Edinburgh. There's obviously the Castle Hill, there's Arthur's Seat, and a bit of the mythology behind that. And some of it's just really interesting from a geology point of view. Not that I know an awful lot about geology, but I did get there, Emma. Thank you. Caroline Barker, hello. Jack, James and Sophie, hello, hope you're doing well. Why am I saying hope you're doing well? Hope you're behaving yourselves. Yeah, hello. I forgot to say hi to my kids, that's terrible. So yeah, 7 Hills of Edinburgh, and also there'll be a golfing video coming out soon. Couple of things I got wrong. I always do this, where I work out the couple of videos that things I got wrong in videos at the beginning. I said that the soldiers at Hadrian's Wall were Roman citizens. They were eventually Roman citizens after they'd served their time, but they weren't when they were there. So that was wrong. I also said that the Roman soldiers called the people in Scotland Pict. They did, but the first recorded incidence of it was 297. I did put that in the original video, but I chopped it out because I thought it was a bit too long-winded. And a couple of people kind of asked about that. So yeah, it may be that they didn't call them Picts at the time that Hadrian's Wall was built, or the Antonine Wall. So there we go, a wee bit of a technicality for you. Hello from Reba Gibbons. Hello from Arkansas. Hello, Arkansas even. Jacqueline Ruman. I like this video. I hope everyone else did too. His video, was that Graham's video? It was really good, wasn't it? Caroline Parker, you're behaving good. Beth Santaro, hi from India. Idaho. God, I need reading glasses. I didn't say that. What do you dislike most about modern Scotland compared to the old? I don't mind modern Scotland, to be honest. Somebody asked me if I'd have liked to have lived in the time of kind of kings and queens and would I have liked to have been a Scottish king? No. I think there's probably too high a chance of being executed, or just, having to do dastardly things to stay in the job, I would say, more than anything. But yeah, no, I quite like modern Scotland, because you can still go and look at all the old stuff, like this place here. It's quite, you can kind of, like, the view you get here is just, there's something quite nice about it. This is ultimately a public park one day a week, which is great. And I think old Scotland, you'd have had a pretty miserable life unless you were kind of quite high up, do you know what I mean? maybe pre-industrial revolution, but kind of during the industrial revolution, it would have been a bit miserable working in a factory or down a mine or something like that. Just an Irishman sitting in England, listen to a Scot talk history. Are you in a pub? That'd be like the full package, wouldn't it? Emma, pics are still my clan. Yeah, fair enough. It's the pics are a funny bunch. They don't know an awful lot about them because they're not mentioned much in history. They're obviously mentioned by the Romans, kind of name checked, and then they're mentioned by the Venerable Bede was talking about them when he was talking about Saint Columba, but he wasn't there. That was years and years later. So they're kind of they're not known. There's not an awful lot known about them, and I think there was a kind of theory that they disappeared, but really they just kind of intermingled with the rest of us. So we're all a bit of a mix, I suppose. I want to abandon the US for Scotland. Fair enough. I've never actually been to the US yet. But yeah, my brothers have both been. They love it. In fact, I think, yeah, my sister's been as well, and she loved it as well. So I think it's only me and my little sister who haven't been. And it does appeal, I must say. What else was I going to talk about? I'm sure I had a list of stuff. Neil Finlay asked me before anyone else, what am I doing at St Andrews? Basically, just making a video and a reel, because I can walk over that bridge, which is quite mad, because you normally only see it on TV. Oh yeah, apparently somebody told me this. I'm not sure about the ins and outs of it, but apparently Robert Burns didn't actually like haggis. And apparently the story goes that he was asked to write the poem to a haggis on the spot, and somebody put him on the spot, and he wrote it sort of half an hour later. If it's true, it's a really good story. I'm not sure what the actual background of it is. Yeah, Seven Hills. I'm going to be doing a video on Halloween and the origins of Halloween, and also going to be doing a video on the Gunpowder Plot. Does everybody in America, do you know what the Gunpowder Plot is? Is it a kind of a well-known thing, or is it more of a kind of a weird British thing? It maybe is. I don't know. Ross McKee, hello. How are you? Ross is my cousin. Rory, hello. Hope you're watching. Hope you're behaving as well. Although I suppose you're Ross's son, so probably not. Beth O'Toole, hello. How are you doing? What did you miss? You missed me bumbling about and basically losing my signal while in an area with a really good signal. But let's go and have a look at this bridge. Proper Halloween, or the Christian history. Proper Halloween. Although it's all intermingled, isn't it? I suppose it's a bit like Easter and Christmas and things. It's all been kind of bits that have been cobbled together over time. But yeah, we'll go into the kind of history of it. The kind of weird Celtic traditions. And just the kind of differences, I suppose, between doing Scottish Halloween and American Halloween. like trying to carve a turnip. Maybe we'll get Jack and James to try and maybe get them to carve a turnip. This is the Swilcan Bridge. It is called the Swilcan Bridge. It wasn't always called the Swilcan Bridge, but it's probably the most famous bridge in all of golf. It's the place where people will tend to stand if they win a competition here. And this is the Swilcan Burn, which is why it's now known as the Swilcan Bridge. It was originally called, originally it was built, this bridge is actually 700 years old, which is quite mental when you think about it. I'm not sure how many times it's been rebuilt over the years, but yes, originally 700 years old, and it's actually a livestock bridge. As I'm sure my brother will tell you, it all comes back to livestock in the end. Let's take a walk over it. Camera's wobbling a little bit because I've got a microphone attached to it. Hopefully it doesn't collapse again like it did last time. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes, the American version is very different. As far as I'm aware, it is very different to the Scottish version. We don't we do now, but we didn't originally do sort of trick or treat. It was called guising, and you basically went out disguised as something, which is the same as you do, obviously. But you had to do like a party piece. and that kind of thing as well. And there's things like ducking for apples, which has a very dark history. It's all to do with witchcraft. Sounds good? Good. Caroline, you can hear me. I'm obviously on a TV there, I'm guessing. Good, everybody can hear me. That's good. So yeah, this is the Swilcan Bridge, 700 years old, originally for herding, I'm assuming, cattle. Sheep probably wouldn't have been such a big thing. Worries me my knowledge of livestock, but yeah, it wouldn't have been probably as big a thing back then. But I might be wrong. But apparently that's what this was for. So this burn's obviously been here for quite a while. I don't know if the word burn means the same thing in the States as it does here. But yeah, in Scotland, a burn is basically just a small stream. Good stuff. Do you want to see something else interesting about St Andrews? It's over here. Everybody can hear me, that's good. Emma, you love Halloween. Shock anyway. Your favourite Wiccan Sabbath. What Wiccan Sabbaths are there? I'm interested now. Didn't know how many there were. Wendy White, I love All Hallows Eve, sorry. Yes, please tell the history of it. Yeah, absolutely. A creek is the same as a burn, yeah. I think burns tend to vary in size quite a bit. A little too late to the party. Nah, you're never too late to the party. Hello from Montana. Hello. So yeah, we're going to go and have a look at the beach. I don't know how familiar people are with this these days, but there was a film at the beginning of the 80s and it was called Chariots of Fire. And it was about runners, about Eric Liddell. And I can't remember who the other guy was, but Eric Liddell was the guy who has a centre in Edinburgh, and he was a runner. And this, although it wasn't actually set in St Andrews, but this beach here is the opening scene. If you don't know what it is, Google opening scene Chariots of Fire and you maybe find it. This is the beach where they filmed it. Just realised I am back to front. I love St Andrews actually, to be honest. It's just a nice place to come. Really anywhere in this area of Fife. It's called the East Neuk, which is another peculiar Scottish word. A neuk is like a little kind of gap, I suppose. The East Neuk is a bit that kind of sticks out on the eastern side of the country, just above kind of, so you've got the East Neuk of Fife and you've got East Lothian, and they're both quite kind of similar, like land-wise, which is actually why golf kind of grew up around here, because you've got kind of weird kind of scrubby bits of grass and you've got sand dunes and things like that. It's very picturesque. Both areas are places I would quite happily live if I wasn't lucky enough to live in Edinburgh. You'd be lucky living here as well. So this expanse of sand is the very picturesque St Andrews Beach. Hi Howard, how are you? In Northern Canada? How far north in Canada are you? Barbara Eddings, you've obviously seen Chariots of Fire. It's a good movie. It's obviously dated quite a bit last time I watched it, but it's really good. So a few people have seen it, that's good. My goal is to visit my ancestral home with my great grandkids. Mary Hill for great grandmother and Dunbartonshire. I actually used to live just round the corner from, in fact, just off Mary Hill Road in Glasgow, so I know it well. There's quite a lot happening around there. Yeah, I love the theme tune to Chariots of Fire. I actually did do a bit of a reel where I ran and put the sound on in the background in slow-mo just so I could see all my chins bouncing up and down. It was, it amused me anyway. Love the theme tune. Yeah, everyone loves that theme tune. It's really good. Mabon Ostara Yule Embolic Lithas is it pronounced salmon or is it something? Halloween, yeah. Beltane, Haggis, Candlemas, all out of order, but off the top of my head, I think that's all of them. My uncle did that to me the other day. He was like, "Can you tell me the 7 hills of Edinburgh?" That's really important. So I rattled off the 7 hills of Edinburgh and then went into a big long kind of explanation of why there might not be 7 hills at all. Edmonton, 53 degrees north. A lovely 22 degrees C, warmer than it is. It's maybe about the same here actually. Although it's been really, it was tipping down on the way up the road here. Bethel Tool, are you going to do your Chariots of Fire impression? No. I can't do myself in slow-mo on a live stream, unfortunately, or I would. So it was tempting. Bar Brightons. Oh, yeah, it's not a pleasant image. And that was the point. Sandra Lee Shiver, my your great grandparents were from Maryhill. Yeah, I thought you meant you were taking them there. Chins wobbling, yes, many chins wobbling. So yeah, what's everybody been up to today? Have you been? Has it been miserable elsewhere? I thought my roof was leaking earlier on. I was a bit panicky when it really started bucketing down with rain, and I kind of ran back inside. I was trying to. First of all, my car started leaking weird stuff on the driveway, and then I thought my roof was leaking. Luckily, I think I got away with both for now. But yeah, it's been a kind of a busy day, and it's really dark and kind of foreboding around here as well, which is kind of good. 82 here in Texas, which is a cold snap. I bet it is. I don't know if I can handle that. Is it quite humid though? The problem in the UK is when it's hot, it's usually too humid. Whereas if you go to New South Wales or somewhere like that in Australia, it's just not. It's going to be really hot, but you don't feel it the same way. I'm not saying where I'm from is tropical or anything like that, but it's just the humidity sometimes gets to you. A Scottish friend said Maryhill was a dicey neighbourhood in New Jersey, rain and humid. I wouldn't say it's a dicey neighbourhood. No. It's a reasonably, it's kind of normal neighbourhood. It's mixed, I would say. It's quite close to the west end of Glasgow, which is a bit posh. But yeah, it's kind of in between stuff. There are some bits of it that are dicey, and there are some bits of it that are not so dicey. It's been up and down there, hot and wet, but hot, then overcast. It's always good to get a nice mix. Blue owl, biblical rain here. Yeah, I had the biblical stuff in the car on the way up. I don't know how I got away with this, to be honest. I thought I was going to be sheltering under an umbrella, and worse than that, the only umbrella I could find was a freebie that my brother-in-law had given me after he was at a conference, and it was going back years, and it was some kind of EU information service conference that he was doing, and he'd been given a free umbrella. And I thought, somebody's going to think this is political and I'm going to get myself into trouble. But it was the only umbrella I could find. Luckily, it's still in the car. PGK, miserable sky here, day 2, but no rain. This is kind of a miserable sky too, but I kind of like it. It's actually quite warm, believe it or not. Even though it looks like it's freezing. Send your rain to me. You can have it. It's the first rain we've had. A political ad. I wouldn't be much of a political ad, I don't think. Thanks for letting me know, but I have lived in dicey neighbourhoods. No, don't be worried. Maryhill, no. Glasgow is like the friendliest place on earth. Probably going to get myself into trouble for saying that. But it really is. It's I lived there on and off, I lived there for 4 years. I've lived in Edinburgh on and off for about 20 years. But Glasgow is a really, really friendly place to be. It's it's just, I don't know what it is. People are just really, really friendly, and really easy to speak to. And people will, to give you an example, when my mum was sort of heavily pregnant with my brother, she was in Glasgow in the snow and she couldn't find her way out. And two guys actually said, "Oh, just follow us," and basically drove out in front of her to show her the way out, and like really went out of their way to kind of show her how to get home. So stuff like that regularly happens in Glasgow. People always say it's a friend of mine from Glasgow, and he says it's like a city full of gangsters and comedians, which is good. That's kind of what you want. Bit of character. Christopher Fraser, that's my kind of guy. Not really a sun person. I swear I was meant to live in Scotland. You regularly get, especially here, you regularly get kind of skies like this. It's especially St Andrews. It's a big sky. You're on the east coast, so really all that's out there is the North Sea. Whereas where I'm from, it's kind of a bay, so you've got a peninsula sticking out, but you feel like that way is basically Europe, and it's quite cold out there as well. Emma, you get called a vampire often. You don't do sunshine. Fair enough. Beth O'Toole, my kind of city. Glasgow, yeah, Glasgow's great. Edinburgh's great too. I obviously live in Edinburgh now, and I love it. It's being able to go to both of them is great. There's a bit of a rivalry between them, but not being from either, I don't really see that, so it's quite funny. I just like kind of getting the best out of both of them, although I don't get to Glasgow as much as I'd like to these days. Sandra, he's from Glasgow and owns a coffee shop right across the street, which is very popular because he's so friendly. Yeah, it's just a Glasgow thing. People are really friendly. Seashell collecting. You could. Not seeing many seashells. Lots of feathers though, kind of weirdly. Mickey Jackson, after the week I've just had today, I'm planning on relaxing and not doing anything but watching videos all day. Fair enough. Those days can be good once in a blue moon. My kids would happily sit and watch videos all day. This morning we were kind of chasing them out the door to try and get them to do different things. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, there will be a competition. You can't see it because I'm actually wearing a jumper over the top of it, but I'm wearing a Scotland Unplugged t-shirt at the moment, and you can win one. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it yet, but what we'll do is we'll put a post up on Facebook. You can win the t-shirt by basically sharing the post and just commenting to say what colour of t-shirt you want. There's a few options. There's the kind of lion rampant red and yellow. There's a kind of grey writing on a black one, and then there's the kind of, you can't really see this, but it's kind of purple and, this is actually, there you go, kind of purple and blue Scotland Unplugged. Not a very good view. Got my hands full. Sky New Jersey looks just like yours. Cool. New Jersey always looks like a nice place to visit. New York looks like a really nice place to visit as well. That's kind of number one on my bucket list. Eventually I will get there. Yes. So there's you can see it already, but we will launch it with a competition. So that's what we'll do. I'll kind of put a note up on YouTube as well, and I'll put something up on Facebook. So all you need to do is share the Facebook post, whatever it may be, and then in the original post just put what colour you want, and we'll put names in a hat, or Caroline Parker will come up with something really sophisticated that does it digitally, and the 5 lucky winners will get free t-shirts basically. And that's what else was I going to say? I think that's basically it. I think I've covered everything I was going to do. Oh, Gunpowder Plot. Do people know about the Gunpowder Plot in America? I maybe missed it, but somebody maybe told me further up. It's just an hour between Glasgow and Edinburgh. It is, not even quite that. In fact, if you're on the train, I think it's 47 minutes. Not that I've taken that train journey way too many times. When I met my wife, I actually lived in Glasgow and she lived in Edinburgh, so I've been backwards and forwards a lot of times between the two. Who else is? Laurie Monaghan, hello. Does somebody answer this question further up? Probably. Let's see. Guy Fawkes, Guido Fawkes, yeah. Hello, medieval maiden. God, I can't pronounce medieval tonight. What's wrong with me? Looks like you're having some storm later. I think you're probably right. You're in northeast England. Whereabouts in northeast England? My dad's family, not originally, but my granddad actually and my granny lived in a place called Malton in North Yorkshire, which is northeast England. We quite often go on holiday down there. It's really nice. PGK vaguely was told about in 6th grade. Never met an American that knows about it. Guy Fawkes. Few on here though. So yeah, we'll do the story of Guy Fawkes. It's not really a Scottish story, but the king that he was trying to blow up was, and he's a really interesting character. James the Sixth of Scotland and James the First of England, just to confuse you. Basically, effectively, because he was the first James that was King of England, but the sixth in Scotland, and he was the first person to effectively rule both countries, plus Ireland as well. And he was really into witchcraft. But we're really into catching people who he thought were witches, and he was an amateur demonologist as well. And he wrote a book about witchcraft and demonology, and I'm about to get utterly soaked. Or maybe not. It's tipping it down again. Something biblical. I'm an American who knows of it, but rare, yes. There you go. Remember the 5th of November? Yes. Newcastle, now missing Edinburgh. We were in Edinburgh before. Yeah, I've been to Newcastle once, I think. Driven through it many times. In fact, I drove through it last week. Gunpowder Plot was the right idea, but executed wrong. It wasn't successful. Witchcraft. Some people did say that. I heard people say that the last person to walk into the Houses of Parliament with honest intentions might be Guy Fawkes. Right, I'm going to have to disappear because it is utterly chucking it down. Apologies for the swift exit, but I better get out of here before I get completely soaked / ruin this phone. Sandra, you watched the Hoof GP and the Scottish Detectorist for fun. I've seen the Scottish Detectorist actually. Landscapes and to learn accents. I don't want to embarrass myself when I visit. I have hearing issues and accents are hard. We do have a weird accent. Nobody understands the Scottish accent. Should have brought that umbrella. Yes, I should, shouldn't I? Really. Laurie Monaghan, you've read about the Gunpowder Plot? Right, I'm going to disappear. Thank you all for turning up. And thanks for all the comments and watching the videos, and it really does mean a lot. These live sessions would not work if I was standing on my own, which I thought I might have been after I got cut off earlier on, but really good to speak to everybody. Have an awesome rest of Sunday. I know a lot of you have still got quite a big chunk of it left. I am off to go and speak to the camera for 5 minutes and hope I don't get too soaked in the process. Raindrops are blurring me out there, I see as well. But yeah, have a great day, and thanks for coming along. See you all next time.